This is about shrinking housing's environmental footprint. It's illustrated with this little cartoon which says that 30 years ago there were 18 families, an average of 4 persons, 72 persons in the building, and now there are 18 flats with just 1 person. So every person has 4 times more square meters, 4 times more resource impact. And that's what we want to look into. We want to find, or we want to propose measures which make it possible for inhabitants, for the building owners, for the authorities to reduce the resource footprint related to housing, measures that can be innovative, technical or organizational. And we want to make sure that these measures are feasible legally. So we have to deal with rent regulation, and you know how tricky rent regulation is and sensitive. And we also want them to be acceptable to the tenants and to the owners. So we have to look at the impacts on livability, affordability, cost coverage, and so forth. Measures have to be effective. We want to make sure that they do make a difference, that they have a lasting impact on resource consumption, that they increase the sustainability of housing, which is responsible, as you've seen this morning, for a large share of resource consumption. The resource use is going to be estimated through material flow analysis, one more project that does that. We can see as a core determinant square meters of land, square meters of housing or building, and we want to look at resource use, land, materials, water, a little bit of energy, although it's not essential, and waste. And it's research in social sciences, because in particular there is going to be a lot of group discussion and discussion with collaboration partners and surveys and plausibilization with the partners and workshops and things like that, which are typical for social sciences. It's also going to be social sciences because we want to work on decision making, explain decision making, model, and also influence through those measures decision making by inhabitants, household tenants, you can call them do what you want, but also the building owner side, landlord side. The main simulation tool is going to be an ABM, an agent-based model that will account both for household population development and for building stock development. And that's where we're going to connect the material and energy flow analysis to this building stock development. This is a picture that shows how those two populations are connected. You have the population of households and how it's going to evolve. Households that will live, of course, in the housing stock we're looking at. But the housing stock itself, which is also going to be developing through new construction, transformation, and the like. There's a matching between the two, and there is an environmental impact of the housing stock, which is determined largely by who's going to live there. And with the help of the ABM, we want to calculate or simulate development path for the populations of buildings, dwellings, and households, and for the resulting resource use. So that's going to be a sort of a baseline. If we don't do anything, how will resource use develop? And also how it can be influenced, how it will change with the measures taken. As I said, population of households, life stages, households form, they have children, children move away, they shrink, new households get created. This is the dynamics of households we want to understand. We also want to understand the dynamics of buildings, which is related to, starts with new building, of course, and then the dwellings are maintained, resources used for maintenance, for upgrading, for energy improvement, for the use itself, and then at some point is end of life, and then we are in the Suzanne Kitzia's project, what to do with those materials. Very important are our 3 collaboration partners. ABZ is the largest cooperative in Switzerland with about 5,000 dwellings in the Zurich area. La Mobiliar, Versicherung, an insurance company, 3,500 dwellings throughout the country. And then in Lausanne, SCHL 2,100, all 2 cooperatives, 1 insurance company. This is our work plan, 4 years, data collection, dynamic drivers identified, projections, simulations, and in the end, proposing measures. So, this is work package 1, in which we started already, of course, we collect and refine the data which describe the 3 populations of buildings, of dwellings, of inhabitants for the 3 collaboration partners, the 3 building stock owners. Also the pairing between the dwellings and the inhabitants, and the environmental impacts. This is what we assess. In work package 2, we explain the dynamics of these three populations, we identify decision patterns, and we describe the life cycles of households, such as, for instance, moving from one dwelling to another. How do they choose? Would they accept smaller dwellings, and so forth? Under what conditions, for instance, and also same decisions by owners. In work package 3, this is really dedicated to the ABM, the determinants of decisions, enter the model, which will allow to replicate the decisions, describe past evolutions, and also predict future ones. So the baseline scenario I showed you before, and also the revised scenarios in work package 4 with material flow and environmental impacts. And work package 4 is really about thinking up measures to lower housing's environmental footprint, measures that can be simulated, that can also be tested for their acceptance in collaboration with, through workshops with the owners and the tenants. We also have dissemination partners or implementation partners, because we want to make sure that the lessons we learn with our 3 collaboration partners get also implemented for other property owners. So you recognize Federal Office for Housing, cooperatives are very important, of course, and some networks which are already active in this field. And finally, the project team, it's complete, I'm happy to say, with the 3 professors and the 3 PhD students. What should I say? Margarita started in October, Anna started in December, and Rithima is starting now. She's here, everybody's here also, and yeah, we're looking forward to doing this project.